text message to every single Capitol staffer, member of the House and Senate, that read, "External security threat. No entry or exit is permitted. Stay away from exterior windows and doors. If outside, seek cover." Now, all of this is taking place just a matter of days after that supposedly unscalable security fence with the razor wire topping it was removed and taken down. And just within the last day and a half, suddenly it became much easier to access the Capitol building. There were still National Guard patrolling, not in the thousands that we witnessed in the aftermath of the attack on the Capitol launched by Donald Trump supporters on January the 6th, but certainly there's been a greater degree of National Guard presence on the streets of Washington even now. But I think this is going to spark a real question about whether it was sensible to downgrade some of those security arrangements on Capitol Hill as we learn more about the motive of what Capitol Hill are describing as a suspect who has been injured as a result of that suspect's attempt to breach the Capitol complex. So this is a very substantial bit of drama once again. The news was broken to Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, as she was in the middle of her daily briefing. She said she was, obviously because she'd been standing at the podium, unaware of what was taking place. She emphasized that President Biden is at Camp David with senior staff members, so there's no suggestion that President Biden is in any danger, but she terminated that White House press briefing, left the podium in order to go back to her office and get across the details of what is taking place on Capitol Hill. But once again, the U.S. Capitol complex, the scene of what appears to have been an attempt to pierce security. 2 U.S. Capitol police officers have been injured as a result of some kind of altercation with the driver of a car who attempted to smash through a barricade, the northern barricade, at the U.S. Capitol building. This all took place along Constitution Avenue, right in the heart of Washington, D.C. And I think we're going to be seeing a long afternoon of investigations, more details coming out here, and then big questions about security procedures on Capitol Hill, and whether we're going to see that fence that was just taken down a couple of days ago being hastily put back into place, because this, I think, will rekindle the sense that there is still a threat to American democracy, although we obviously need to understand the details of precisely what the motivation may have been for this attempt to breach the Capitol grounds, Andrew.
And Simon, just finally, we don't know yet who was shot. Somebody has been shot. Was that a police officer or was it the suspect?
Well, we know that the suspect and 2 Capitol Hill police officers have been taken to hospital, and certainly there were reports from some on the ground there that stretchers were seen with at least 2 people on them. There were separately reports of gunfire, but we don't know for certain whether anybody was actually shot or whether these injuries were incurred as a result of the car crashing through the security barrier.
All right, that's Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent, and we'll keep you up to date on that breaking news. Just so if you're just tuning in, a car attempting to ram its way through the security barriers at Capitol Hill, which is now in complete lockdown. 2 police officers are in hospital, and the suspect, the driver of the car, in hospital too. And of course, as Simon Marks put out, 3 months to the day of those extraordinary riots, probably the worst security breach at Capitol Hill since 1812, when part of Capitol Hill was burnt down by, I hate to tell you this, the British. It was a war that we were involved in, and the British burned down part of Capitol Hill. Let's go back to our conversation about COVID passports. They're going to be, we think the Prime Minister is going to tell us whether they're going to be piloted. We think the FA Cup will be the first place they'll be trialled, with a view to these being introduced for things like theatres, concert venues, to enable them to open to encourage people to go. Your view on that, please. 0345 6060 973. Kelly's a new caller from Heathrow. Kelly.